Greetings, mighty companions, and welcome to the practical and healing applications of A Course in Miracles with me, Rebecca Quinn, formerly Kujawa. And we're just going to start for a few minutes with just getting present, doing our opening meditation, and then we will go into where and what Spirit wants us to learn from in A Course in Miracles today. So, if you haven't already, go ahead and close your eyes. Let's see here, reduce background noise, enhance voice, okay, wonderful. So let's just take a breath. Take a deep breath, and then with your exhale, just let your day go. Let everything that is not happening right here, right now, go. Place it into the hands of love. And let's be present to the power and the peace and the love and the joy that is here right now, within us, surrounding us, connecting us to all of creation who are one with us. Truly, we are connected. Truly, we are one self united with our Creator. And we are one with every aspect of creation. And we are complete and healed and whole as we were created by love. And truly, there is nothing to fear right now. But there is everything to be grateful for. There is everything to celebrate. For truly, we have been given everything by our Creator. Our Creator who knows no lack. And so we just breathe. And let our gratitude to our Creator and to our teachers fill our hearts and flood our bodies with the radiant light of love, which is God. We thank our Creator that we are separate from no living thing, no living being. We thank our Creator that our Creator has given us everything and that there is no lack that exists in us. And we rest in this truth. We rest in peace, knowing that this truth is true. This holy instant do we give to you, Spirit of Truth, Spirit of Healing. We ask that you be in charge of this healing circle We ask that you decide for healing for us. Spirit of healing, we trust your unfailing love for us, and we trust your brilliant genius. We trust that your will for us is only happiness. And so we ask you to decide for healing for us. Decide where in A Course in Miracles we study today. But you know the prayer of our hearts. You know what we need to hear, that our minds might be healed, that we might return back to the peace we were created in. And we thank you that you always hear our call for help, and you always answer. We thank you for your unfailing, brilliant love. We thank you for never abandoning us in our madness. We thank you for answering our every call to you. We thank you for your unfailing devotion to our peace. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, God. Be you in charge. And to that we say, amen. All right. Beautiful. All right. Very nice. So, we're going to do we just did the random number generator prayer together. And so now I've got the random number generator app open. So we're doing that together. So we're going to be in chapter 2. That's interesting. We're going to go right on back to talk about the beginning. You girls were talking about being beginners. And so let me see how many sections there are in chapter 2. So we're going to be in chapter 2. Let's see here. Chapter 2. All right, and there are 8 sections. So let's go back to here. Okay. Okay, she says, if you insist. All right, and so now we are in section 6. So it's going to be 2-6. 2-6, which will be fear and conflict. 2 things we know all too well. Love, don't know as well, but fear and conflict. All right. Hi, Irene. Hi, William. Hi, Dan. Lovely to see you all. Thanks for being here. Okay. So it is, and then, so it's chapter 2, and we are in the blue covered edition today. The blue covered edition, 2-6, and it's called Fear and Conflict. All right. And if anybody watching is willing to write the title and the section in the comments, that would be helpful. If not, I'll have Greg do it when he comes in. All right. So here we go. First thing we're going to talk about is being afraid. Anybody ever been afraid?
Never.
No. Okay. So this is for other people then. This All right. So it says being afraid seems to be involuntary. It just seems to happen to you, just walking down the street, and fear seems to come upon you. Being afraid seems to be involuntary, which means something beyond your own control. Yet I have already said that only constructive acts should be involuntary. So already our teacher has told us it shouldn't be fear that's involuntary. It shouldn't be fear that's involuntary, okay? What should be involuntary? Only constructive acts or loving acts. The only thing that should be involuntary is to be loving, not to be afraid.
To be natural.
Yes.
Natural in you.
Natural, exactly. It's not natural to be afraid. Isn't that, wow, what a concept. It's not natural to be afraid. That is not natural. Only love is natural. Only being loving is natural. Fear is not natural. It shouldn't be involuntary. Okay? In other words, it shouldn't be natural. And then our teacher here, the author of the course, says, my control can take over everything that doesn't matter, while my guidance can direct everything that does matter if you so choose. All right, well, that's good to know. How would you like for love to take over how would you like love's control to take over everything in your life that doesn't matter? So that's the thing. Love, I ask for you to take control of everything that doesn't matter in my life. Love. Okay. And then it says, and love, I would like for your guidance to direct everything that does matter in my life. Did you know that you could ask your teacher, your higher mind, love, to do that? Doesn't that sound good? Where you've given love, your higher self, you've given it permission for its control to take over everything that doesn't matter in your life, and you've given it permission to guide everything in your life that does matter. You can ask your higher self to do that. All right. Now, imagine the kind of life that you would have if your higher self, love, its control took over everything that doesn't matter in your life, while its guidance directed everything that does matter. Okay. It reminds me, that's what I want to ask for. That's what I want to ask for. Now, it says, fear cannot be controlled by me. This is the voice of the course, our teacher. Fear cannot be controlled by me, your fear, but your fear can be self-controlled. Okay? In other words, our teacher cannot take our fear from us. It can't be like, give me that fear. Give me that fear. It can't take our fear from us, but our fear can be self-controlled, meaning we can choose to give over our fear to our higher mind if we want to. And it says, fear prevents me from giving you my control. Our fear prevents our teacher from giving us its control. So like fear is like, I'm going to control this situation. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to be afraid. So fear is an attempt to control the situation. Thank you, dear. You can open that.
Well, it's noisy.
That's okay. It's okay. The air would be nice.
Yeah, I really need it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Help with
The fan is right here, and I mean, we can turn it on. It might be a little noisy too, but go ahead and open it. It's all right. It's okay. Don't worry about it. All right. Thank you, Irene and Dan, for putting the chapter in the section. Thank you. Chapter 2, Fear and Conflict. Beautiful. Okay. So our fear is preventing our teacher and healer from giving us its control. So love is totally ready to control, to control and guide everything in your life. Love is ready to do that, ready and willing to control any situation. But we aren't letting our higher self do that, guide us and control everything that doesn't matter by our fear. So our fear is me saying, my fear is me saying, I'll take it from here. I know how to control this situation, and I'm going to control it with fear. So fear is not involuntary. Fear is an attempt to control your life, control situations. Okay? To think that you don't need fear to organize your life, you don't need fear to control your life, you don't really need fear to protect yourself. Isn't that interesting? We just 100% assume that you need fear to organize, control your life, and to make yourself safe. Just like, oh, that's what we learned. Oh, if you want to be safe, if you feel out of control and you don't feel safe, be afraid. You know, and how effective are we at making ourselves safe and happy with fear? You know, how effective are you thinking when you're afraid? How effective are you acting when you're afraid? How clearly are you thinking when you're afraid? Not at all. So it really doesn't protect us at all. We think that it helps us to control our lives, thinking that if I can just control my life with enough fear and anxiety, then I'll be safe.
Okay, let's just hit it. We pay to be afraid. When we go to a scary movie,
Yes, that's right.
we pay money to
Oh,
jump
yeah.
out of our skin.
And also, so yes, we pay money to terrify ourselves in the form of scary movies.
Roller coasters.
Roller coasters, absolutely.
Can't get on.
That's right.
Needed.
We also form relationships to help keep us afraid.
I would think relationships keep me safe
Right,
from my fear.
right.
Because of
But
it.
if you think fear keeps you safe, then anyone with whom you experience a lot of fear is unconsciously somebody you will think is keeping you safe.
Like a policeman,
Or just relationships where you experience a lot of fear in. Isn't that interesting? It's like, this relationship I have a lot of fear in, but it makes me feel safe. I have a lot of fear here in this relationship, but it makes me feel safe. Safer to have this than if I didn't. So
you're talking about like an abusive relationship.
no, I'm just talking about any relationship that there's a lot of fear in. That's a relationship that unconsciously you think is keeping you safe somehow, whether it's emotional, physical, financial, whatever. Okay? So it says fear prevents spirit, your higher self, from giving you its control. So I can either have love's guidance or I can have fear. And I'm like, instead of going, hey, love, what is going on here? What does this mean, love? How should I respond? What is happening here, love? Instead of asking love for what it means and asking love to decide for me and be in charge, I'm turning to fear. And then now I'm thinking about all the things that I should be afraid of, all the things I'm worried about, all the bad things that could happen, all the reasons why I don't deserve to be happy and healthy and abundant. So I can either have love guide and control, my experience, or I can use my fear to control and guide my experience as if I know enough to do that. Okay. Then it says, so the presence of fear shows that you have raised body thoughts to the level of the mind. So what does it mean when I'm afraid? It also means that I'm thinking about the body. Fear means I'm thinking about the body. I have raised thoughts of the body to the level of the mind. And I'm telling myself, I'm believing that what's happening on the physical level is what's making me afraid. That's what fear indicates. Fear shows I'm thinking about the body and I'm choosing fear to control whatever is going on the physical level. That's what fear shows. And when you are raising body thoughts to the level of the mind, this removes the body thoughts from love's control and makes you feel personally responsible for whatever's going on the physical level. And you thinking that what's happening on the physical level is affecting your mind instead of the other way around, this is an obvious confusion of levels. So when you are experiencing fear, you are believing that what's happening on the physical level is affecting how you're thinking, that this fear is coming from what's happening on the physical level. But the Course is telling us that the fear is not coming from what's happening physically. You know, you think about your fears and you think your fears are coming from what's happening, you know, physically around you. Thanks, honey. Wow. Thank you, God. I just looked around and I'm like, where's my water? Thank you, God. Now, did it not just say that your higher mind will take control of everything that doesn't matter in your life? And it's like, oh, I need some water. Here you go. I need something to drink. And he had already opened it to make sure that it didn't explode when I opened it on camera.
Well,
Now, is that thoughtful or what?
but that does matter. Having some water matters.
Well, I mean, ultimately, whether I had, you know, water right here or not doesn't matter. But it just told us that love is willing to take control of all the things that doesn't matter in our life, which really is the physical stuff. That's the stuff that doesn't really matter because it's not the causal level. What's happening on the physical is not determining what's happening. What is important is the level of the mind. And so notice that our teacher is saying, all the physical stuff, I will control that for you if you'll let me, if you want me to. You know, the Course is saying, the voice of the Course is saying throughout the Course, give me the trivial and mundane details of your life. Give it to me so that I will handle it so that you can be focused on the things that really do matter, which is your mind and your thoughts. And it says, love is willing to take control of the things that don't matter while love's guidance, while love, it will guide the things that do matter, which is your thoughts, what you're thinking, the level of decision. Now, I personally love that because this is how loving, think about how loving your guide is. Your guide is saying, give me all the trivial, mundane, physical details that you're stressing out over, all the worldly stuff, Give me all the worldly details. Our guide and our teacher is telling us, give it to me, and I will control it so that you can keep your mind focused on doing love's will, which is the healing of your mind. Isn't that beautiful? How would you like to have a friend show up and go, let me just handle all the worldly shit for you so that you can keep your mind stayed on God? How would you like that? That is what is being offered. That is what is being offered to all of us all the time for free. You know, I used to dream about having, a secretary, who was like, let me just handle all your worldly details. Just give me your lists. Okay? We have one in our teacher. And by allowing our teacher to take control of the trivial, mundane, worldly details, this is what we do instead of fear. So instead of being afraid of, oh, I got so much to do, and how am I going to accomplish it, and how am I going to do it, and how am I going to get the money to figure it out? Instead of doing that, being afraid, we're being told you could give over all the things that don't matter, the trivial, mundane details of the world, all the stuff you got to get done, for love to control them and handle them and accomplish them. That's the alternative. You can either be afraid, you can be all afraid and anxious and worried about all that and try to do it all yourself, that which doesn't matter, the worldly stuff, or you can give the control of it over to your higher mind, your teacher, who will do it for you, that your mind might be free to receive the guidance, to follow the guidance of your higher self.
Can I back up to, so I struggle with this, that my fear is not from what I see out there.
Right. That's right.
How is that?
Because the fear is coming from the idea that all the worldly stuff matters, and that if you don't do all that worldly stuff just right and in the right timing, as everyone wants you to do, then you won't be loved, or you'll be guilty, or you'll be abandoned, or whatever. So
that's saying my fear is how I see the world.
Right. But all fear is coming from confusion of the mind and the physical level. So all the fear is about something about the physical level, the physical realm, the body. So that's what it's basically saying, that when you're afraid, you're thinking about the body. So your mind, you're thinking that the physical level is the cause of your experience, which means you're confusing the physical level with the mind level. Okay? When you're afraid, you are worried about something related to the body, thinking that whatever happens on the physical level affects your mind, when it's really the other way around. And if you knew that the only causal level is what you're thinking, and you're allowing your thoughts to be guided by love, you would not be experiencing fear. You wouldn't be experiencing fear. So it's good to know that, number one, when you're afraid, you are being concerned about bodily matters, physical, worldly matters. Now, if you had given the physical, worldly matters over to your higher mind's control, which it's offering you, you wouldn't be afraid. You wouldn't be worried about the physical level, the worldly things. All you would be thinking about is, how can I allow love's guidance to guide my thinking so that I can experience fulfillment and happiness right now and help others to do the same. Does that make sense? Okay. So remember, and I forget, I think it is in chapter 2, 3, it's in the early chapters, in the original dictation, where our teacher says, give me the trivial, mundane details, and I will handle them for you better than you could, so that you can keep your mind focused on what does matter. And every single time that I have done that, where I've got something going on in the worldly sense, and I'm feeling stressed or afraid about it, and I said, all right, you asked me to give you the trivial, mundane details of my life so that you could handle them for me. So here it is. Please handle this list. Please handle, I've got this thing I've got to get done this week. And so I give it to you. I turn it over to your control. And every single time I have ever done that, the worldly thing gets handled in the most graceful, miraculous way that that leaves me in awe, where I'm like, oh, wow, dang, that really worked every single time. Okay? So our teacher is saying, I'm willing to take control of all the things that don't matter, all the worldly stuff, if you will let me. And I'm willing to guide what does matter, which is your thoughts. If you will let me, if you want me to, would you like that kind of support? I would. I do. I need help. Because when I'm trying to handle all this worldly stuff, the stuff that ultimately doesn't matter, when I am trying to handle it by myself, guess what I'm full of? Fear and anxiety and worry and stress. Trying to do it all by myself is stressful. There is so much worldly stuff to do when you have a body. Too much. Too much. Hi, Winter. Lovely to see you. Okay. So that was paragraph 1. So, did you hear that you have a super cosmic assistant? And you have it is better than AI, let me tell you. This is UI, universal intelligence. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And universal intelligence has not just the input that we humans have put into it. Universal intelligence has intelligence that comes straight from source. So we have the ultimate cosmic assistant, better than AI, for the worldly stuff that doesn't ultimately matter. And we also have the most brilliant genius guide for that which does matter, which is our thoughts, our interpretations. And we have that for free. It's not like we have to pay $24.99 a month for that. You know, I saw the AI app the other day, and it was like, for $12.99 a month or $19.99 a month, you can have total access. Oh, thank you. Okay, here's the quote. So this is the voice of the Course. Our teacher is speaking to us about all the trivial, mundane, worldly stuff that it says it will take control of. Okay? It says, you have to remember to ask me to take charge of all minutia, all the worldly details. And they will be taken care of so well and so quickly that you cannot get bogged down in the minutia. You know, the minutia, tiny stuff, the worldly details. Okay? And so this is our teacher speaking right to us. The only remaining problem, okay, after our teacher's like, give me the minutia, give me the tiny worldly details. The only remaining problem after you've given your teacher all the minutia is that you will be unwilling to ask for your teacher to do that.
Could you say so for the recording, chapter 4? And what?
This is, I can't see what this is. I don't see what it is at the moment.
Yeah.
But
I'll show you.
Okay. So our teacher says, give me the minutia, give me the worldly details. I will take care of it so well, so beautifully that you cannot get bogged down with all the minutia. Okay. Doesn't that sound like a great deal? Well, what's the problem? You won't ask me to do that. Our teacher says, you won't ask me to do it. You'll forget to ask. It's very true. I've heard that many times. But why do I forget so often to say, hey, teacher, could you please handle the minutia here, the worldly details here, so that I don't have to get bogged down in all the worldly details and be all stressed out about them? Why is it that I don't do that more often when I've heard that many, many times? It says the reason you won't ask your higher self to do that, your cosmic personal assistant to do that, is because you're afraid to not be bogged down. Oh, I see. Yeah, because it almost seems too good to be true. But if that is true, why am I not asking every day for higher self to take care of all the minutia so that I don't get bogged down in it? Well, I'm afraid not to be bogged down. You know why? Why would you get, you're like, no, why? Why would I be afraid not to be bogged down? Well,
that was chapter 1.
Let me see the quote.
Under Miracle, number 25, Miracles, and paragraph.
So it's Miracle Principle number 25.
And it starts out at,
but it's only in the original edition. They edited that out. Okay. For some reason, they edited. It's only in the purple book. Okay. So it says, let's see where it was. Oh, yes.
Paragraph 4 is where you
Okay.
Which chapter?
chapter 1.
Oh,
I love it. It says, this is so great.
Miracle Principle number 25, paragraph 4.
Okay. So it's not in your book, sweetie. Janice.
oh, okay.
It's not in your book. Oh, do you have a purple book or the?
Yeah.
Oh, you do. Oh, you do. Okay. So it says, check this out. Okay, remember, this is the voice of the Course, our teacher speaking right to us, trying to help us out. This is our personal cosmic assistant, trying to take a big freaking stressful load off of our mind so that our minds can be freed up to do love's will, which is to be happy. Says the reason I direct everything that is unimportant is because thinking about getting bogged down with things that are unimportant, the worldly details, is no way to waste your free will. We're wasting our free will on the unimportant, trivial, minutia, worldly details. I felt like that today. I was like, my God, all day long I was doing worldly, trivial stuff and just being like, this is crazy. I am wasting, and feeling like I'm wasting my free will on something that is, I'm wasting my free will on what's unimportant. But he says, the reason I direct everything that is unimportant is because you being focused on the trivial, minutia, worldly details is no way to waste your free will. If you insist on doing the trivial your way, you waste too much time and mind power on it. You cannot be free. Your mind cannot be free if your mind is tied up in trivia. Your free will, your mind power never gets out if it's tied up with the minutia. And so then our teacher says, I will tell you exactly what to do in connection with everything that doesn't matter. That is not an area where choice should be invested. That's not where my choice should be invested, in the trivial, minutia, worldly details. My free will, my mental power should not be being wasted on what doesn't matter. That's not an area where your choice should be invested. There is a better use of your time. Can you believe that we are being offered a cosmic personal assistant like this for free? So then it goes on to say, you have to remember to ask me to take charge of all minutia, and the minutia, the trivial, will be taken care of so well and so quickly that you cannot get bogged down in the trivial minutia details. The only remaining problem is that you will be unwilling to ask me to do that, says our teacher. Why? Because you are afraid not to be bogged down. in the worldly details, the trivial minutia details. Do not let this hold you back. If you will ask, I will arrange these things, even if you're not too enthusiastic. Thank you. Thank you. So he's like, you don't have to be like, hey, spirit, hey, teacher, I'm so grateful for you. You're so brilliant and so loving, and you're offering me this all for free. You don't even have, you could be like, well, you said you take it over, so do it. Even if you're not too enthusiastic, our teacher will arrange these things for us, even if we are not too enthusiastic. I am not intruding on your free will, but I am trying to free it. So our teacher's not trying to be controlling or intrude on our free will. Our teacher's trying to free up our mind, our mental power, our free will. It's trying to free us up so that we can exercise our freedom of choice on that which does matter, which is, what am I thinking? What do I want? What's my purpose? How can I be helpful? Those kinds of important things. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. And then it goes on to talk about, when you're asking, be specific. Don't try to be spiritual. Says, if you're wanting a new winter coat, say, decide for me for where to find the winter coat that would be best for me. That's what it says. It says be specific. So when you're saying, listen, when you're handing over the trivial minutia worldly details for its control, then be specific. I really need to get my brakes fixed, spirit. And I need help getting that, remembering to schedule that. And I need the money in my bank account for that. And thank you. Be specific as you're handing over the trivial. So remember, it's saying here, my control can take over everything that doesn't matter, while my guidance can direct everything that does matter if you choose, if you want me to. Isn't that amazing? I have dreamed about having a secretary like that. But I always thought, well, I could never afford that. That's only for rich and famous people who have, all the money in the world. And so to hear that, no, you can have that. I already have that. I'm just not utilizing it because I'm afraid not to be bogged down with the trivial minutia, because I'm afraid of having my mind freed up. I'm afraid of my mind freedom. I'm afraid of having true freedom. I'm afraid of having my free will, my creative power freed up. I'm afraid of that. I think it's safer to be afraid. I think it's safer to be trying to control everything myself. I think that's somehow safer. Isn't that crazy? It's a good thing we're innocent. Because we are crazy. Yes. She's like, okay. All right. Okay. Yes, Jan. Here she comes. Come on. Lay it on me, Janice. Lay it on me.
Okay. I like the word trivial a lot.
Yeah. You can relate to that, huh?
Yeah. Since Spirit has thrown down this Pepsi challenge, how trivial, because, I'm older, I have fabric strewn everywhere, I don't have dusted for 6 months. So.
You haven't dusted for 6 months, okay, so.
I'm trying to look better than I really am.
Okay, so, and 6 months is where you're trying to look good.
I want to create this stuff.
Okay.
I just want to make these beautiful things.
Gotcha.
And what's the point of dusting?
Gotcha.
Can't get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it just, and wipe it off. It comes back. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so yeah, the housework is.
Okay, housework. That's a great example of the trivial, mundane things. Okay, so you would say, to spirit, your higher self, you'd say, I really need to have my house cleaned. I really need to have my house cleaned. You said to give you the trivial, mundane details, the minutia of my physical life. Part of that is I need my house dusted. I need my house clean.
I need a path.
Yeah, I need a path to walk in my house. And the cleaner my house is, the more inspired I feel. So your higher self, your cosmic personal assistant, wants to handle the trivial details of having your house clean, so that your mind, your free will, your creative power is freed up. You ever notice that when your house is clean, you feel more inspired to create, to be creative, or to socialize, to join, So you ask that you give over the trivial, mundane details of getting your house cleaned to your higher self, your personal cosmic assistant, that your mind might be freed up to do what it's supposed to do, which is to create and to join. Okay? So that's just as simple as that. And that's a great example. That's a great example. Driving down here, I was realizing I was driving the car, and then up comes the 48-month, the 48-month service thing, and it listed everything my car needed right there on the screen. And I was like, oh my God, that is going to be so expensive. And literally I just said, Spirit, please take care of all the details of getting my car in for my 48th month service appointment. And then I came into the center. So interesting that I was doing that right before I came into the center. And this was the section that Spirit chose through the never random number generator.
I'll be reporting back next Monday.
Thank you. You report back. Exactly. So that's your homework for the week, is to next time you feel, because notice, you know when to do this by the presence of fear. Fear lets you know that you are undertaking to try to manage all the trivial, mundane, worldly details yourself. And now our teacher's saying, that's not what I want your mind bogged down with. I need your mind to be free. I need your will to be free, to create, to heal the children of God, to be channels of love in the world. Come on. You think humanity needs us to be cleaning our house? Humanity needs us to be freeing up our mind so that we can extend more love and light to humanity. So Spirit's like, listen, I need your help. And so if I can help clean your house or get your service on your car done, let me do it. I can do those things with no problem, better than you can. Okay, so fear lets you know that you are getting bogged down on the worldly, trivial, mundane details of life instead of doing what you came here to do. What Spirit wants you to do. Spirit wants to help you to do. That's what it means when you're afraid. You're getting bogged down. And it's not an accident. You are afraid not to be bogged down. You're afraid of the good that you will do when your mind is free. I'm afraid of how much good, how much creative good, what does the Course in Miracles say? The good, the beautiful, and the holy. I'm afraid of how much good, beautiful, and holy that I will be channeling when I'm not bogged down with all the worldly details. involved with the body. Notice I was talking about all the worldly details is all around the maintenance of the body. It's all about the body of my car, this body. It's all about the body. The body requires so much maintenance, as we always talk about in class. It's always about the body. So your fear, let your fear be your clue that you are getting bogged down in the worldly details that you could be handing over to your personal cosmic assistant called Spirit, who will handle that for you so that you can free up your mind power to create the good, the beautiful, and the holy for humanity, who, by the way, desperately needs you. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed how desperate humanity is right now for the light, for the truth, for love. Hello. Humanity, it seems like they're on the verge of collective suicide. Do we not? Humanity literally is like, seems like it's like, you know, marching steadily toward committing suicide, planetary suicide. Come on. I mean, humanity's like calling for love, you know, and humanity can't hear God's voice directly yet. So they need you. They have to hear it through you. So we can't so our higher self doesn't want us to get bogged down in the unimportant stuff, you know? So, I mean, whether your house is dirty or dusty is not really important, you know, and you do deserve to have it handled, taken care of, so you can focus on what is important, helping save humanity. I want to help save humanity. I really, you know, that's what I want to be about. But I'm afraid of my love for humanity, and I'm afraid of my power to help humanity. I'm afraid of how much good I could do to save humanity. I'm afraid of that, so I allow myself to get bogged down in a lot of wildly unimportant stuff.
What would be the downside of saving humanity?
What would be the downside of saving humanity? There's no downside.
Okay.
Yeah, there is no downside. Yeah, there's no downside, because truly, you know, as you take your part in healing and saving humanity, you are saved. You know, the Course in Miracles says you'll never know that you are healed until you're taking your part in healing of humanity. And taking your part in the healing of humanity really just comes down to your will, your desire to be used by love for the good of others. That's it. Your willingness. And then from there, Spirit goes, oh, okay, you could be helpful over here doing this. Okay? All you have to do is have the desire, have the will. I want to take my part in the healing of mankind, humanity. I want to. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it, but I want to, and I'm willing. And that's it. Because it's Spirit's part to go, great, we have the perfect thing for you over here. Do this, which you already love to do, and do well, and just do that. You know, the thing that you love to do that makes you happy, that you'd be doing even if you weren't being paid? Just go do that. That's it. You know, taking your part in the healing of humanity will never be a sacrifice. Spirit has built your part to be something that you love to do, that you would be doing for free, you know, even if you're never being paid for it. So your part in healing humanity, Spirit crafts very specifically to what you love to do already, and that what you perceive to be totally doable. All your part is like, I am willing, I am showing up for duty. I don't know what to do, I don't know how to do it, but I'm showing up for duty. I want to be part. I want to take my part. The Course in Miracles says God God has given you a function in the healing of humanity. God has given you a function. I have a function God would have me fulfill. That's one of the workbook lessons. Okay, now, you can't do that. You can't be receiving the guidance for how to do that and then doing it if you're all bogged down in the worldly details of maintaining your physical life. Wow. This is so totally such a major theme that has been on my mind for the last couple of weeks. Big time. Truly, it's totally answering my own call for love, my own call for help, profoundly. Because I have that will, I want to, but I see that I'm afraid of it because I'm still setting it up where I'm getting bogged down in a lot of worldly details. You know. So
Thank you for having this problem because I need to hear it.
You're welcome for having this problem. Yeah, I'm just having this problem for you, Carol. Hi, Michael.
Would you just accept?
Hi, Carol. All right. Hi, honey. Say hi to everybody. Say hi. Hi, everybody. Hi, Carol. Lovely to see you. And then Michael Paul says, what do you mean? What do we mean by create? Okay. Beautiful. What we mean by create in this context is that when our will is to create the good, the beautiful, and the holy. That's what we were created to do. We were created to extend the good, the beautiful, and the holy. We were not created to survive and struggle. That's not what we were created to do, to struggle, to earn our living. You know, that's not what we were created to do. That's not. We were created to create, which means we were created to extend the light, the joy, the truth, the love, the power that we were created with, that we were created by. We were created to be creators, to be just extending love and light and joy through our mind. We were not created to do manual labor physically so that we could afford to live. Does that not sound like hell? Like, okay, here you are in a body, and now you have to earn your living. And you know, I'm talking, you know, as soon as you're like, you know, I don't know, 10, 14 years or whatever, get to work. You got to earn your right to live. You got to earn your right to live. And you got to do it doing trivial, mundane things that don't inspire you and don't make you happy. And are really doing things that really ultimately are not very important. Okay, that's hell. So don't be worried about going to hell. You're already here. In the real world, you don't have to earn your living doing unimportant, trivial things. Okay, so that's how you know you're not quite in the real world yet, if you haven't that experience. So, and then here we're being told that we have a personal cosmic assistant who's saying, I will handle all those mundane worldly details for you so that you can be about what you're here to be about, which is to extend love from your mind to the minds of others.
For only $29.99 a month.
For only $29.99 a month. So great question. Thank you for asking that question, Michael. That's a great question. And hi, Paul. Lovely to see you. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Michael.
cavemen made, prehistoric people made cave art.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And, no materials, just
Yes. Just
rocks
ochre and right. Berries.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the medieval times, storytellers were going from town to town, and they were revered.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This was a big deal.
Well, anyone who has extended the good, the beautiful, and the holy throughout all time is someone who allowed their mind to be guided by a higher loving thought. Okay, so that's how the good comes into the world, is where we say higher loving mind, higher loving power, whoever the heck you are, whatever you are that's loving, I ask you to guide my mind in the paths of love, in creating and extending loving thoughts and being helpful. And please take over all the worldly bodily maintenance stuff so that I can go around doing good, being loving, extending love, being helpful. Okay. And anytime anybody has given permission to love to do that for them is somebody who has allowed love to bring more good and light into the world through them. And it's so simple.
That sounds like fun.
Doesn't it sound like fun? I know. Listen, we could be having fun here. We could be having fun going around doing good if we weren't so bogged down. But this is telling us that being bogged down is a choice. And that's the important part here. Getting bogged down in the worldly details is a manifestation of our fear of being free and being happy and fulfilling our function as creators. So remember that the being bogged down is not natural, and it's not necessary, and it's not what's expected of us by God or anybody else. I mean, it may be expected, by other humans, but it's not what is expected of us from God. It's not necessary, and it's just fear. And remember, what does fear mean? Fear means I am allowing myself to get bogged down in the worldly, trivial, mundane details of the maintenance of the physical level, because I'm afraid to be free and happy and to fulfill my function as a healer for mankind. Okay, that's what fear means. Who knew? Fear is not voluntary. That was the first sentence. Fear is not, fear says, what did it say about fear? Fear seems to be involuntary. Fear is not natural. Fear is not involuntary. It seems to be involuntary, but it's not. It's a choice. It's a decision to get bogged down on the level of the world so that you can't be about what you are here to be about for the good of all. Whew-wee. That was one paragraph.
That has ego's fingerprints all over it.
Doesn't it? Listen, you need to earn your living starting at a very young age. It has ego fingerprints all over. Only the ego would come up with that plan. Only the ego that hates you. Ego does not love you. Your ego is not your amigo. Your ego wants you to be a slave. The way the ego has set up the world is that we be indentured slaves, that we're slaves. I got to work to earn my living. That's a slave. And boy, has the ego accomplished that. Humanity is enslaved. You know, I think of Earth sometimes as a prison planet. Think about it. And that is the ego's purpose, is that you be enslaved to the ego, which wants to be God. So the ego's like, I'm God and you the slave. I'm God and you're my slave. That is the ego. The belief that it is God and you are its slave. You work for me. And we have forgotten, no, I made you, ego. You're my slave. I made you. We forgot that. We forgot that. That we made the ego. And it does our bidding, not the other way around. All right. Okay, that was great. Thank you. I really needed that. Okay, and thank you, Michael Paul, for that great question. Paragraph 2. So the voice of the Course says, I do not foster level confusion between the mind and the body level, but you must choose to correct that level confusion between the body and the mind. How do you do that? Well, excuse me. Sorry, got the kombucha going. It says, you would not excuse insane behavior on your part by saying you couldn't help your insane behavior. So why should you excuse insane thinking? So we say, I can't help. I excuse my insane behavior that you would never say, you would never excuse your insane behavior by saying, I couldn't help myself by doing that. Okay. But why are you excusing your insane thinking? So I don't excuse my insane behavior saying I couldn't help it, but I do say I can't help my insane thinking. I do say I can't help but have fear. I can't help but have fear. I don't say I couldn't help that insane behavior. No court in the land would go, oh, you couldn't help but go stab that person. Oh, well, we'll let you go free. Right. But if you went into a court and said, well, I can't help my fearful thoughts, they'd be like, of course, that's right. But saying that just like you would never say, I stabbed that person because I couldn't help it and then get off with it. He says, you also should be saying, don't be saying, I can't help my thoughts. Like, I can't help but be afraid. Stop excusing your fearful thinking by saying, I can't help it. Why are you condoning your insane thinking, fear, by saying, I can't help but to be afraid? You're excusing insane thinking, saying, I can't help what I think. Yes, you can. As a matter of fact, that's the only level that you can affect any change at all. Is by going, I am responsible for what I'm thinking. I can help my insane thinking. He says, this idea that you can't, this idea where you're excusing your insane thinking, saying you can't help insane thinking, there is a confusion here that you would do well to look at clearly. For instance, you may believe that you are responsible for what you do, but not for what you think. Correct? I think I'm responsible for what I do, but I don't think I'm responsible for what I think. And he says, you would do well to really look at this confusion that you got going on between the mind and the body level. I think I can help my behavior, but I don't think I can help my thoughts. He says, the truth is that you are responsible for what you think. You can choose what you think. That's the truth. Because it is only at the level of what you think that you can exercise any choice. The truth is that you are responsible for what you think, because it is only at the level of what you think that you can exercise choice. You're not exercising choice at the level of your behavior, okay? It says, and what you do comes from what you think. So, you cannot separate yourself from the truth by, quote, giving autonomy to your behavior. It's by saying, I couldn't help it. And as a matter of fact, your behavior is controlled by love automatically as soon as you place what you think under love's guidance. And whenever you are afraid, it is a sure sign that you have allowed your mind to miscreate, which means you have not allowed love to guide your mind, your thinking. All right. And then paragraph 3. It is pointless to believe that controlling the outcome of your misthought, your behavior. I'll say that again. It is pointless to believe that controlling the outcome of your misthought, which is your behavior, can result in healing. It is pointless to believe that you can control your behavior and it result in healing. When you are fearful, you have chosen wrongly. So when you're fearful, that's not about your behavior or anybody else's behavior. When you are fearful, it's because you have chosen wrongly. And that's why you feel responsible for it. You must change your mind, not your behavior. And changing your mind is a matter of willingness. So don't say you can't change your mind. Being able to change your mind is all a matter of willingness. Isn't that wonderful to hear? You can't change anything by changing your behavior. The only thing that affect change with is changing your mind, because it's only your mind that is determining your behavior. So changing your behavior does nothing. That's not a real change at all. But changing your mind changes your behavior. So, in other words, he says, you don't need guidance except at the mind level. Correction belongs only at the level where change is possible, the mind, and change does not mean anything at the symptom level, which is the behavioral level, where change cannot work. Change cannot work at the symptom or behavioral level. And the only kind of change or correction you need, the only kind of guidance you need is at the level of the mind, your choice, your decision, your willingness. Wow. Change doesn't mean anything at the symptom level, which is the behavioral level where change cannot work. All right. So, thoughts, questions, comments on that? Hi, Jean. Lovely to see you. All right. Who has been trying to solve their problems today on the behavioral level? Who has been trying to figure out what to do differently, or how to get somebody else to change their behavior so that you can be happy? Greg is pointing at Janice. And you know what that means about Greg, right? Okay. Yeah. Who's been trying to make change at the behavioral level today? Okay. Yeah, exactly. That's the better question. Who hasn't? Exactly. 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 Yeah, I was thinking today, if I didn't have to do all this insurance billing, I'd be happy. That was me thinking that if I just make a change at the behavioral level, that would be a real change. But this is saying I don't need correction or change at the level of the world, my behavior, what I'm doing physically. The only thing I need is a change of mind. So instead of being like, well, I'm just not going to do insurance anymore. I'm just not going to deal with insurance anymore. I could have asked for correction of whatever thoughts that are in my mind that tell me that I have to somehow sacrifice in order to be sustained financially, for instance. You see, the change I need is a change of mind. Now, if I just change on behavior level, I'm just not taking any more insurance. I'm just not doing any insurance anymore. Okay. That is not changing what is producing that kind of strain. Okay. But I need correction at the mind level. You know, my thoughts that I have to do that for sustenance or whatever. Okay. So wherever it is that we are experiencing strain or fear or struggle, what this is reminding us what it's reminding us of is that don't waste your free will mental energy trying to change the situation on the physical behavioral level. Stop wasting your creative mind power trying to figure out how to move around the physical pieces of this, or trying to figure out who else needs to change their behavior. Right? It's not about what should I do differently. It's what can I be thinking differently? What thoughts in my mind need to be corrected so that what I'm doing isn't doesn't feel like a sacrifice. You know, so that I can experience my sustenance and abundance without doing something I don't really want to be doing. Okay, do you see from that practical example? Okay, any questions on that? All right, let's all take a breath. Yeah, I don't have a worldly problem. My problem is not the physical situation going on here. It's not the person, people, places, and things. That is not my problem. My problem is I've got some thoughts that are unloving, that are not true, that are not helpful, and that are getting me bogged down in things that are unimportant, that are keeping me from fulfilling my function of being a healer, a helper for mankind. That's my problem. Now, thank God, it's not up to me to change those thoughts. Remember, I have a guide. We have a guide. We have a teacher that's their job. Okay. Our job is just to be willing. Our job is just to place cause and effect in their correct order. So what's happening on the physical level is the symptom, and the cause is my thoughts. And I take responsibility for whatever's happening on the physical level, and I take responsibility for the thoughts that have produced that. And I am willing and requesting those thoughts, those mistaken thoughts, like I have to sacrifice in order to have something to be corrected for me. That's it. That's my part. Though willing, I take responsibility for the thoughts that are manifesting this physical situation, and I ask for correction of those thoughts that I am responsible for. I am responsible for the thoughts that have manifested this physical condition or situation. So, taking personal responsibility, willingness to have my thoughts corrected, that's my part. That's it. I don't have to figure out how to change anything. That's not what it's about. It's not about me figuring out how to change this. It's about me taking responsibility for what is going on, placing the cause for it of my thoughts and expressing my willingness to have my thoughts corrected by my higher self, by my teacher, by my higher self, the divine spirit within me, who knows exactly how to do that all easily. And then the other part is to ask your higher mind, your teacher, your spirit teacher, to take control of those worldly details that that are getting you bogged down and producing strain and stress. That's our part. Does that sound easy enough to do? Yeah, it does. He's like, that seems too easy. It seems so easy that it seems too easy. And since it is so easy, why is it that I'm not doing that more frequently? Because I'm afraid to not be bogged down with all the worldly stuff that feels like a sacrifice. I'm afraid to be free and to fulfill my function of being happy and sharing happiness with the world.
And don't you think fear of the unknown?
And yes, absolutely, fear of the unknown, absolutely. I've always been a slave, a voluntary slave, a willing slave, but I've always been a slave, so true freedom to truly be what I was created to be is unknown to me. I've always been a willing slave. I've always been a slave where I felt like I had to do this to earn my living. So truly this kind of having my will freed up, having my creative power freed up to create the good, the beautiful, and the holy is completely unknown. Or I should say unremembered by me. Of Course in Miracles says, I used to know it. I forgot it. So I don't remember ever having my will be free to fulfill my function as a creator, creating the good, the beautiful, and the holy. So you're absolutely right. It's also fear of the unknown. Absolutely. All right. Beautiful. Michael Paul says, good stuff. What about a brother that we think needs help with something? Okay, that's a great question. Well, the first thing that we want to remember is the Course in Miracles says, don't try to help another in your way. You can't even help yourself. So, in other words, don't allow yourself to get bogged down in the physical details of their so-called problem. Okay? Don't take it upon yourself to figure out how to change the symptoms. Their problem, the physical manifestation of their problem is a symptom of their thoughts. So, for starters, remember that you don't want to help them in your way, and also that their physical problem is not what they're really upset about, and that what they're thinking is the real source of the problem. And the best way to help somebody is to help them to remember that they have a higher helper. Okay, don't try to be that higher helper for them. You can't even help yourself. And don't try to rearrange the physicality, the physical details of their problem, because the physical details of their problem is not their real problem. It's what they're thinking. And only they can change their mind. Only they can realize that there's some sort of connection between their thoughts and this situation, and only they can ask for help. Now, you can help remember that for them. If they are not open to that, then you can remember that for them silently. If they are open to hearing that, you can just remind them that they are not alone, that they have a loving higher helper who is available to them, that loves them, and is just waiting for them to ask for its help. So, is that helpful, Michael? All right. That's how you can help somebody, even when the truth is that their problem is coming from their mind, their own choices.
So you just, in prayer, meditation, remember that for them.
Exactly. That's right. You just remember that for them. You can, the Course in Miracles says that you can ask on their behalf. It says, the Course in Miracles says, because you are one with them, because you share a mind with them, you can say, Spirit of healing, this holy instant do I give to you on behalf of myself and this person here who is one with me. It is not possible that I have peace and healing without them, nor is it possible that they have peace and healing without me. But it is wholly possible that we experience healing and peace together because we're one. And so I give you this instant, Spirit, that your blessings of peace and healing descend on both of us and keep us both in peace together. That's a prayer that A Course in Miracles gives us by which to ask for the miracle on behalf of another. And of course, you don't say this out loud. You say this as they're speaking, or you say it to yourself as, when you're thinking about them, or it doesn't matter. They don't have to be there. They can be anywhere. And you can ask for the miracle of peace and healing in their minds for them, on behalf of them. Isn't that beautiful? And so the Course in Miracles says that whoever is the saner of the two at the time that the threat to peace is perceived, that is the one who should remember how indebted they are to the other one and be grateful for an opportunity to ask for peace for both of them. Isn't that beautiful? And in all the years I've been studying and teaching A Course in Miracles, there's never, ever, not one single time that I have prayed that prayer on behalf of somebody, either whom I was having conflict with or someone who's having a conflict, that a miracle did not occur. I mean, miracle where I went, wow, like dramatic. Isn't that beautiful? Because we're one, I can ask for a miracle for them because we're one. I just love that. And that guarantees that next time you are not in your right mind, that somebody will ask for peace and healing for you on your behalf, which you will receive. It really guarantees that you will receive the help you need when you need it, because you've been asking for help on behalf of others when they needed it. So whoever is saner at the time the problem is perceived should remember their indebtedness to the other and be grateful to pay their debt by asking for peace on behalf of them and yourself. All right. Okay, so it's 8:30, so let's stop here. Michael says, I need a miracle. Beautiful. Well, I join you, Michael, in asking for the miracle with you. I join with you in remembering you are entitled to miracles, and that you have a loving, brilliant, genius, cosmic personal assistant who is waiting to help you with the things that are unimportant in your world, the worldly trivial details, and is willing to guide you in things that are important, like your thoughts and your willingness. So I join you in that. You deserve a miracle. You do. All right. So we're going to stop here, and the love offering basket is over here. If you'd like to make a donation, it's right here. Thank you for that, and thank you guys for watching on Facebook or YouTube. If you are watching on Facebook and you would like to support this ministry, then like, share, and subscribe. If you are watching on Facebook and you would like to support this ministry, or to just support and strengthen these ideas going out into the world that needs them so desperately, then share it on your Facebook page. And thank you for doing that. I really appreciate you guys joining in this healing circle and strengthening these ideas for humanity's healing. Truly, this is how we save the world. This is how we help humanity. This is how you fulfill your function as helper, healer for the world. The world needs you. All right. So I'm just going to do just 2 minutes of an integration meditation, and then we're just going to go back out into the lab. Where we'll have plenty of opportunities to practice. Thank you. All right. So just close your eyes and take a breath. Just notice how you feel right now. And I want you to bring to your awareness a situation or a relationship right now where there is stress or strain. Where is it in your life right now where you feel really bogged down by the worldly material details of life? Where is it in your life where you feel a strain and a sacrifice, where you feel like you need to earn your right to live, your living? I want you to bring that to your awareness. Now, I want you to notice how the stress and the strain and the sacrifice is all around the body and the maintenance of the body, the worldly details of maintaining a body in time. And now let's take our higher self, our teacher, up on its offer. And let us say to our teacher, our divine teacher within, let us say to it, Teacher, you said to give you the trivial, mundane, unimportant, worldly details that I'm bogged down in, stress and strain. You said to give it to you, and that you would take care of it for me, so that my free will and my creative power could be freed up to create the good, the beautiful, and holy, what I was created to do. And so I'm giving it to you. I'm asking you, please handle, take over, take control of all these worldly details that I feel so bogged down in. And be specific. I give you the details of this situation right here. Be specific. Is it the worldly details of needing money for rent or food? Is it the worldly details of the things that go into making a living, your job? What is it? Hand it over. And now, let's just say to our teacher, "Teacher, I don't want to be bogged down anymore with the worldly details. I want to fulfill my function here on earth of doing, creating the good, the beautiful, and the holy, to help humanity, to save the world. I'm willing. I don't know what the form of my function here is. I don't know the form, the details of the job that you've made just for me, but I want it. I'm willing to have my mind and my creative ability freed up so that I can go about doing good, helping humanity. I am willing. I want to fulfill my function in the healing and helping of humanity to save itself. I want to do my part to save the world. The world is calling for help, and I want to help. And so I'm giving you all my worldly details that I'm so bogged down in. Please take control of all the unimportant details in my life, Spirit. I give you permission. I want you to. And teacher, higher mind, I want your guidance in my thoughts. Guide my thinking so that my mind can be freed up to create the good, the beautiful, and the holy. And teacher, higher mind, I acknowledge that I am responsible for what's happening in my world. And what's happening in my world, it came from my mind. My mind is the cause of this, and I take responsibility, even if I don't remember choosing it or making it. It's my mind that has made this problem that I feel bogged down in. And I ask for the correction of my thoughts in my mind that have me bogged down. Correct my fear. I ask for the correction of my fearful thoughts that are making me afraid to not be bogged down with this worldly detail. Guide my thoughts, Spirit. Correct my fearful thoughts. Correct my fear. My fear of my freedom to do my will, what I was created to do and be. And thank you, teacher. Thank you, higher mind, for your unbelievable love and devotion to my freedom of mind. Thank you for your willingness to handle the unimportant things in my life. And thank you for your willingness to guide the things in my life, in my mind that are important. Thank you. Thank you for your profound devotion and friendship. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, just take a breath. Bring your awareness back to the room, back to your body. And when you're ready, yawn and stretch, knowing that you have done good. You have done good, y'all. Yes, you have. So, appreciate yourself. And on behalf of humanity, thank you. Thank you. On behalf of humanity, thank you. And thank you. On behalf of humanity, thank you. I appreciate you all so much. Trisha, lovely to see you, dear. All right, love you guys.